For months, the world's most powerful observatories had been tracking an object that at first seemed like just another interstellar curiosity, a green-tailed wanderer crossing the frozen frontier between stars. Its name, 3I/Atlas, nicknamed 3I Atlas, the third confirmed visitor from beyond our solar system after the famed Oumuamua and Borisov. Astronomers thought they understood what they were seeing, a solitary, enigmatic body drifting past the sun, trailing a luminous tail of emerald light, a cosmic tourist destined to swing around our star and vanish forever into the dark. But in the early hours of September 19th, at precisely 2 a.m. Universal Time Coordinated, that comforting assumption shattered. An amateur astronomer in Chile, working from a simple hillside observatory, captured an image unlike anything seen before. 9 faint points of light surrounded 3I Atlas, moving with it in perfect synchrony, like fireflies circling a lantern. The discovery ricocheted across astronomy forums within minutes. Was it an imaging glitch? A trick of the atmosphere? Or had something unprecedented been caught on camera? Within hours, the world's great space telescopes confirmed it. The James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, and the Very Large Telescope in Chile all turned their eyes toward the object and reported the same thing. Atlas was no longer alone. It was escorted. 10 objects traveling together, each glowing with the same eerie green hue. The mystery of Atlas had instantly transformed from an oddity into a cosmic event. And what scientists would soon uncover about these hidden companions would shake astronomy to its core. At first, many professionals dismissed the Chilean images as mere noise or digital artifacts, quirks that happen when sensitive detectors pick up cosmic rays or pixel saturation. But Webb's ultra-precise infrared eyes and Hubble's high-resolution optics erased every doubt. The 9 smaller objects were real. They were flying alongside 3I Atlas, maintaining exactly the same trajectory and speed. Each radiated an identical green-tinted glow. Spectral analysis revealed a truth no one wanted to believe. These weren't fragments broken off from the main body. They were independent objects carrying the same exotic metallic signature as Atlas itself: nickel, cobalt, and alloys not typically found in comets. Even stranger, while Atlas had already baffled scientists with a thermal profile suggesting an internal power source of 10 gigawatts, each companion appeared to radiate nearly twice that, 20 gigawatts per object, contained inside masses no larger than city blocks. To put that in perspective, 20 gigawatts is enough to power entire nations. And yet here it was, compacted into icy, rock-like fragments streaking through space. Natural processes don't do that. Nature does not build small, reactor-like cores inside wandering comets. If these were engineered objects, if they were probes, then the implications were staggering. What unsettled astronomers most wasn't just their power. It was their suddenness. For weeks, telescopes worldwide, both amateur and professional, had been watching Atlas carefully. NASA's Juno, the Parker Solar Probe, and even missions en route to Mercury had been collecting data. Not one of them saw these companions arrive. According to Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, the 9 bodies didn't drift into view. They blinked into existence, appearing in less than a millisecond, faster than a camera flash, faster even than the blink of an eye. Our instruments weren't fast enough to capture the moment they materialized. One instant there was a solitary traveler, the next a convoy. Speculation erupted. Did Atlas deploy them like miniature probes, activating dormant drones as it entered the inner solar system? Were they triggered by the sun's gravity or radiation? Or did they arrive from somewhere else entirely, hiding in plain sight until the perfect moment to reveal themselves? Whatever the answer, their appearance wasn't random. It was deliberate. When astrophysicists attempted to model the companions' energy profiles, their computers failed. No matter how they adjusted their equations, temperature, density, fusion, fission, the numbers refused to converge. You cannot fit that kind of power output into objects so small without invoking technology beyond our comprehension. Exotic containment fields, antimatter catalysis, even dark matter reactions were proposed, because ordinary physics simply couldn't explain it. Each of the 9 bodies appeared hotter, denser, and more energetic than the main craft, as if they were designed for closer approaches, while Atlas itself remained at a distance. In other words, these weren't just escorts. They were frontline agents carrying more raw power than anything humanity has ever conceived. This realization rippled through the scientific community because it suggested intent. Something had placed these objects here. Something had given them impossible energy cores. Something was directing their path. As images spread online, ordinary people asked the obvious question, why hadn't we been told? How did an amateur astronomer with a backyard telescope expose what the world's most advanced observatories had missed? NASA and the European Space Agency issued only the vaguest statements, acknowledging ongoing observations, but refusing to release Webb's raw spectral data. Behind the scenes, however, leaked memos revealed emergency meetings at the Pentagon, ESA headquarters, and China's space agency. Whispers emerged of contingency plans ranging from interception missions to planetary defense protocols. Private space companies were quietly approached about rapid launches. Europe dusted off old asteroid deflection designs. And yet, to the public, silence. No warnings, no explanations, just carefully controlled reassurances that there was no evidence of threat. But silence speaks volumes. If 9 hidden objects really had appeared alongside 3I Atlas, each radiating more power than entire nations, then the truth was already too big to contain, and governments knew it. Harvard's Avi Loeb advanced a chilling theory, the mothership hypothesis. According to Loeb, 3I Atlas might not be a solitary object at all, but a carrier, a larger interstellar craft releasing probes as it approached its target, in this case, our solar system. The escorts weren't fragments or debris, but scouts, deliberately deployed to maneuver closer to worlds, while the main craft remained farther away. If true, this would explain their denser power signatures, their synchronized orbits, and their simultaneous emergence. The horrifying implication, these probes weren't drifting. They had a mission. Were they mapping the planets, searching for resources, or simply observing the only intelligent species they could detect? Loeb was unequivocal. Probes this advanced do not appear by accident. They appear when they are meant to be seen. Not everyone agreed. Some astronomers proposed a more natural explanation, that Atlas had collided with a massive interstellar rock, shattering into smaller fragments that retained its speed and trajectory. In theory, this could account for 9 companions flying in formation. But the numbers quickly broke the theory apart. Fragments from collisions do not ignite like reactors. They don't radiate 20 gigawatts each, and they certainly don't produce identical green tails with the same exotic metallic composition as their parent body. The precision of their trajectories was too perfect, their synchrony too absolute. Even skeptics admitted the companions behaved less like broken shards and more like machines designed for a purpose. And as if 9 companions weren't enough, the story grew stranger still. From the opposite direction of the sky, another interstellar object, C/2025 R2, nicknamed Swan, was approaching. 100 times larger and brighter than Atlas, with a tail stretching 5 times the width of the full moon. Swan was set to reach its closest pass to the Sun within days of Atlas. 2 interstellar giants converging on the same corridor of space, escorted by fleets of hidden companions, all during the same week in October. To many, this timing was no coincidence. Some speculated Swan was arriving as a protector, intercepting Atlas and its escorts before they could unleash whatever mission they carried. Others suggested the opposite, that both objects were part of the same operation, converging near the Sun to exchange energy, data, or even cargo. And then historians pointed out something even more unnerving, records of unusual green-tailed visitors stretching back millennia, appearing in cycles of roughly 2,200 years. If those records were real, humanity had seen this before and survived. But survival this time was no guarantee. While the public speculated, governments were anything but idle. Leaked memos revealed emergency sessions at the Pentagon, at European Space Command, and within China's National Space Administration. Draft contingency plans outlined everything from reconnaissance probes to outright planetary defense scenarios. China reportedly redirected resources from its long March 9th rocket program into designing a high-velocity interceptor. ESA dusted off designs from its abandoned Don Quixote asteroid deflection mission. Even private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin were quietly approached about rapid response launches. Yet, in public, silence. NASA refused to release Webb's raw spectra. ESA declined comment. The White House issued a single-sentence statement: "We are aware of the situation and monitoring it." That silence fed paranoia. Because when 9 objects suddenly appear, each radiating impossible power, and the world's most powerful institutions respond not with transparency but with secrecy, it suggests the stakes are far higher than anyone dares admit. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the companions was how they appeared. According to Harvard's analysis, the 9 objects materialized in just a single millisecond, far faster than any natural fragmentation process could occur. A human blink lasts 300 milliseconds. A camera flash about 5. These companions emerged 30,000 times faster than a blink and 100 times faster than a flash. For astrophysicists, this meant one thing: they didn't drift into being. They were deployed. Nothing we know in natural astronomy behaves this way. Comets fracture under stress slowly, over hours or days. Asteroids split apart from impacts in cascades of dust and fragments. But 9 symmetrical objects, all radiating impossible power, emerging in perfect lockstep with their parent body in under a millisecond. That isn't astronomy. That's technology. Speculation soon erupted about the purpose of the 9 companions. If they were probes, then perhaps they were scouts designed to fan out and study the planets of our solar system while Atlas remained at a distance. Their stronger energy cores would make sense, built to endure closer encounters with worlds, atmospheres, and magnetic fields. But some researchers warned of a darker possibility. 20 gigawatts of power in such small objects is not just excessive for observation. It's weapon-level energy. Could these be harvesters designed to mine resources or extract energy from planets and moons? Or, worse, could they be enforcers? Machines meant to neutralize threats before the main craft proceeds? Without communication, we are left with silence. And silence invites dread, because intent is invisible until it acts. And by the time it does, it may already be too late to respond. Historians, too, join the debate. Strange green-tailed comets have been recorded throughout human history in cycles of roughly 2 millennia. Chinese imperial archives mention a heavenly dragon in 200 BCE. Babylonian tablets describe a splitting star that heralded upheavals. Medieval European chronicles speak of a green banner in the sky around the year 1000. If these records are accurate, perhaps what we are witnessing now is not new at all, but the return of something that has visited before. Could it be that every 2,200 years these objects converge on the sun, leaving behind only cryptic stories that our ancestors tried to immortalize? If so, then our age is not the first to face this enigma. We are only the first to do so with the instruments to truly see it. And that realization may be the most terrifying of all, that humanity may not be experiencing a first contact at all, but a recurring event that predates civilization itself. Behind closed doors, mobilization has already begun. Defense satellites are being recalibrated, reconnaissance probes repurposed, and classified communications intensify between space agencies. Reports suggest China has accelerated its long-delayed planetary defense program, while Europe is resurrecting designs for kinetic interceptors. The United States, silent in public, has allegedly convened emergency panels at both NASA and the Pentagon, exploring everything from nuclear readiness to signal strategies. But here is the haunting truth: time is against us. With Atlas and its companions approaching perihelion within weeks, there is no window to build new technology or mount a coordinated defense. If these objects are hostile, we are already unprepared. And if they are not, then why the silence? Why the secrecy? Because perhaps the greatest fear is not what they are, but what acknowledging them would do to us. In the days following the appearance of the 9 escorts, subtle anomalies began to ripple through the solar system. Magnetometers detected faint, synchronized pulses aligned with the orbits of Atlas and its companions, repeating every 43 seconds like a heartbeat. Seismographs in Antarctica, South America, and Asia logged ultra-low vibrations with no tectonic origin. Even migratory animals, whales in the Pacific, birds in Europe, insects deep underground, shifted their navigation routes as if their internal compasses had been scrambled. These signals weren't random, and their timing perfectly matched the movements of the convoy. Some researchers began to whisper that Earth itself was being activated, its magnetic skeleton resonating with something hidden inside those objects. If this was coincidence, it was the most perfectly aligned one in human history. If it wasn't, then the 9 escorts weren't just traveling, they were tuning the solar system. Then came the most chilling discovery. Radio astronomers intercepted a directed energy burst from one of the escorts, not aimed at Earth, but at the Moon. Its trajectory was precise, striking a region long known for mascons, dense gravitational anomalies beneath the lunar crust. These mascons have baffled scientists for decades, hinting at structures or concentrations of mass that conventional geology cannot fully explain. Now, for the first time, they were being targeted. The signal was layered, structured in amplitude and polarization. Not language, but code. What if the Moon isn't just a silent satellite, but a node in a much older system, dormant until activated? Were these 9 companions awakening something hidden beneath its surface, something planted there long before humanity took its first steps? If the escorts are probes, then perhaps the Moon was never ours to begin with. Despite mounting evidence, the silence from global institutions only deepened. NASA refused to release Webb's raw spectra. ESA deflected every inquiry. China remained cryptically silent, though reports leaked of emergency launches being quietly prepared. The White House issued a single sentence: "We are aware and monitoring the situation." Then, nothing more. For ordinary people, the only source of truth came from amateur astronomers posting their images online, piecing together patterns governments refused to acknowledge. But silence itself became the loudest message. Because when 9 powered objects suddenly appear around an interstellar visitor, and the world's most powerful agencies respond with censorship and secrecy, it is not reassurance. It is confirmation that what they know cannot be spoken aloud. Finally, orbital mechanics revealed a detail too precise to ignore. Both 3I Atlas and its 9 escorts, along with the oncoming giant swan, were set to align within a narrow solar corridor in mid-October. Their perihelia would overlap within days, their distances from the Sun separated by less than 50 million kilometers. For random bodies, such synchronicity is impossible. For engineered ones, it looks like scheduling. To many astronomers, this meant only one thing: a rendezvous. Whether it was refueling, a data exchange, or something darker, the timing was flawless. And the blackout window, when the Sun blinds our telescopes, ensured the most critical moments would remain unseen. It was as if the sky itself conspired to keep us in the dark, or worse, as if the timing had been chosen precisely to hide the truth. For centuries, humanity has looked at the night sky and imagined myths: dragons, banners of fire, omens of change. But what the James Webb Space Telescope, the very large telescope, and the eyes of ordinary people with backyard instruments have now revealed is not myth but reality. 3I Atlas is no longer a solitary mystery. It is flanked, escorted, by 9 smaller companions that radiate impossible power, maneuver with precision, and appear not through chance but through deployment. In a blink, the solar system went from hosting one interstellar object to 10. And that revelation changes everything. Because if they are probes, if they are machines, then they are not here to drift. They are here to act. Their synchronized movements, their directed pulses toward the Moon, their strange resonance with Earth's magnetic field, all point toward a mission that is still unfolding before our eyes. Add to this the convergence of Swan, 100 times larger, set to arrive in the same corridor at the same time, and the silence of our institutions begins to feel less like caution and more like containment. They know something extraordinary is happening. They know this is not coincidence. And they are choosing silence over disclosure. We wanted answers. What we have instead are questions that cut deeper than anything science has prepared us for. Are we watching a convoy arriving for rendezvous? A fleet executing a schedule written long before our existence? Are these escorts guardians, scouts, or harvesters? Is the moon itself part of a system we never understood? The terrifying truth may be that these questions will not be answered by us at all, but by them, on their terms and in their time. The greatest fear is not that we have discovered something alien. The greatest fear is that this convoy was always coming, that its cycles have passed before, and that humanity is only now advanced enough to notice. What if we were never the watchers, but the watched? What if our telescopes didn't uncover the secret of Three-Eye Atlas, but instead triggered the next phase of its mission? This isn't a science fiction story. It is happening now above our heads in real time. 10 objects, synchronized, powerful, deliberate, are carving their path through our solar system. And as they move closer, one haunting possibility remains. Maybe they are not just passing through. Maybe they are here for us.